Okay, so Tommy Yartlin here in the flesh. I just thought you might like to see my little playroom here. So it's not very much space here, but it's and it's getting a little bit messy looking, and hopefully you can maybe do a little bit better job tidying it up. But it's been quite interesting. I think you'll agree that we've got something working eventually that would have seemed quite challenging at the onset. And I suppose the approach is very important, that you try and not worry too much about the end result, but to try and have an idea and sort of imagine what the end result could be like, and then try and go about in small steps, incremental steps. And you can see how we took that approach and we tested parts as we went along until finally we're in a position that we had confidence to start putting it all together, to integrate the whole thing together and then finally test it. So we're going to look at the final testing now of the joystick controlled robot arm. So here you go. Here's from a top-down view. The program, I've just got a little bit of note here. We can see that in a previous program you would have tested the limits of the shoulder, the lower arm, the upper arm and the claw. Maybe I'll rearrange these so that I have rearranged these actually. Just be careful. I rearranged, I put the upper arm before the lower arm. Doesn't really matter, but just be careful to make sure you put the limits in for the correct joint. So you can see the shoulder doesn't really have any limits as such. It goes from 0 to 180. The lower arm I have 40 to 140. The upper arm 50 to 130. They might be slightly different for you. And the claw, you can see that area we tested that it was closing pretty much at 55, and the upper limit 150 when it's reasonably open. So they were our limits. It's important that you put these into the program. So the program we're going to use is Joystick Control Robot Arm 10, the final and last program. And here's where you should put your limits in. Okay, so you can see I've got the shoulder limits first, then the lower arm limits, the upper arm limits, and the claw limits. It starts off in the mid position. I'm not going to go through everything on this program. Maybe when we meet up in live, if you have any questions regarding it, you can. You can see where I'm reading my joysticks, and if the joystick changes, I'm calling the shoulder function. If the left Y value changes, I call the lower arm function. If the right Y value changes, upper arm function, and if the right X changes to the claw function. The function is a block of code that is called, so it's another functions we put in here, and there's a function for each joint. And you can see that in any of the joints I have a limit, and I'm going up in the step size until I reach that limit, either of the limits. So I don't go past the limits, and I'm going in the angle step size is how much I step, the size of the steps to get to my position. But the position can never go past the limits. And that's effectively what we're doing here. Okay, so I've uploaded that. And we're going to switch over here, and I'm going to switch on. Now that's that noise I heard. So all positions are positioned in the servo. Let's move it over here, and let's put up the thing as well. Now you can see, hopefully, there's the upper, there's the shoulder. Now you can't really see it. I'm going to move this out of the way so you can see the robot arm. So there's the shoulder. What I really like about this is that the values that I've chosen for the step size and the sampling time, 10 milliseconds between moving the steps, means that it's actually very smooth. Okay, so those values can have a good effect on the operation of the robot arm. But the final product here, I think you'd agree, is actually working quite well. So I'm not going to try and test myself by my dexterity by picking up any blocks or anything like that. You can try that yourselves and see how that goes. But it has all come together pretty well, and hopefully you've enjoyed it and found it very interesting. Okay, so I'll see you soon during the actual transition week, and if you have any questions with any aspect of this, then we can talk about that then. Okay, so good luck with everything, and I hope you enjoyed building and testing this robot arm. See you now. Bye.